Hey, what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds, and in this video, you're going to see exactly how a rent-to-rent works. This property is not owned by me, it's not owned by any of my students, it's controlled by one of my students, namely Tom. Tom is, how old are you, Tom?
I'm 18 years old.
He's 18 years old! 18 years old, so you don't own it, but you control it.
I control it, yes.
How did you take control of this? You must have needed a lot of money.
No, I only need £1,000.
So £1,000, you control the house.
Yeah.
Show me around, man, let's go.
Okay, so this is the first room. As you can see, it's a huge room.
Big.
Yeah, so it kind of, the walls and the room came in the condition that it's in, so we didn't have to do a lot of work, we didn't have to take the carpets out or anything.
Yeah.
But I had to put in all the furniture, get the mattresses, and then I also had to put all the furniture together.
You flat pack this?
Yeah.
IKEA?
Yep.
You have to do it. Everyone at some point that's getting started in property has to get down on their hands and knees and flat pack.
Yeah, I loved it. I love doing it.
So when you said you spent £1,000.
Yeah.
Is that including the furniture, everything?
Everything costs £1,000.
£1,000 to secure this property?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I want to hear the figures.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear the figures of this.
So I'm paying the landlord $575 to control the property. So
okay.
So there's no voids for them, guaranteed rent. I'm tenanting it for them.
Yeah.
And then the rent that I'm getting a month comes to about £1,500.
Nice.
And then my expense is £950.
So you're left with about £500–600
Yeah.
profit?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
£550.
That's decent, bro.
Yeah, for the first one.
I mean, when did you turn 18? Just like 2 months ago?
Yeah, 2 months ago I turned 18.
Okay, so tell me then, number one, were you scared taking this on? You've now, as an 18-year-old, got to commit to paying the landlord $575. Is that not scary?
Yeah, I think the responsibility, I wasn't as much scared, but more it was a kick up the bum to basically.
Your mom was petrified.
Terrified, yeah, she lost sleep over it.
She was losing sleep. But here's the thing I don't understand that freaks me out, Tom. Your mum was petrified, because why was she petrified? Because you're going to have to pay the landlord $575.
Yeah.
But you've got a break clause!
6 months,
After 6 months, because you do it properly. Also, if you buy a house, you don't have a break clause. You have to keep paying the mortgage forever.
Yeah.
You have to keep paying the bills forever. Like, it's the least risky way. It's like try before you buy.
She'd never done it before, and I think that was what had scared her. She'd never delved into rent to rent.
And she is in property.
Yeah.
You know, so she's got properties. But this strategy, what did you think when you first heard about rent to rent as a strategy? What happened, and tell me what happened.
So I came across it for the first time on the crash course, and I was quite sceptical.
I
didn't know what it was. I didn't really understand it. Like you said, my parents are in property, and they'd never done it either, and that's what scared my mum.
Yeah.
But once it was explained really clearly by yourselves and the other guys on the crash course, it was a no-brainer to get into it. So I kind of just went from there.
So how did you find this property?
So we got a letter from a local estate agent just in the post, basically saying that we did come.
Like an advert?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just saw a little leaflet flyer, letting agent, and it just mentioned on there that they do corporate lets.
Yeah.
And you were like, I've heard this before.
Straight on the website.
Respect.
Called them up. Called them up and said, I've seen this property, 575.
Yeah.
I'd love to take control of it. And then within about 2 or 3 days, I had the keys in my hand.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Wow. Okay. £1,000 totally in. How long have you had the keys to this property now? How many days?
A week and a bit.
Just over a week. And how's it going? Are you managing to rent the rooms out?
We've got one tenant in, we've got another one coming at the weekend, and I've got 3 viewings today and tomorrow.
Dude. And when you say one tenant in, they're paid. They're paid.
Paying.
When you say one coming at the weekend, do you mean they're actually moving in?
As well.
They're paid as well. Dude, you've done well. You must have been so pumped when you started renting the rooms out.
Yeah.
You must have been so pumped.
That was when I became more comfortable once I started getting the rent in for the rooms.
Yeah, because that's what people worry about. People worry about getting a rent to rent and then not being able to rent the rooms out.
Yeah.
What would you say? Like, what kind of due diligence did you learn how to do before just taking on a property at random?
So, like on the crash course, you've got spare room, open rent, just to kind of check what the demand is. Even on Rightmove, you can kind of get a good gauge of how many properties are rented in the area.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how I did my due diligence, and
Right.
it did also help that I've done bits looking at properties before my parents, and so I knew what to expect kind of a little bit with the market round here, but still nothing was certain.
Yeah,
So.
this is an area that you're quite familiar with, right?
Yeah,
and
so
I remember
really
on the crash course, we did an exercise where I said, find a deal, and the person who finds the best deal, I'll give £100 cash to. And you actually were like, I got a deal, you found a
I
deal.
thought I'd won.
What happened?
So I brought up this deal. I'm still following it through now. I'm expecting a call.
So you
today.
found it on the crash course?
Yeah, so I found it on the crash
Hold
course.
on. So as a result of the crash course, how much you pay for the crash course?
Nothing. It's free.
Free. You're in a free crash course. You found a property which I said I'll give the winner £100 to,
Yeah.
and you thought you'd won, and you thought you were going to get £100, but you didn't. But you're actually now buying it.
Yeah.
Sick. And you got this property, all as a result of a free, one-day virtual crash course.
Yeah. I wasn't happy that I didn't win, but I'm gonna get the real prize, aren't I?
You know what I said to you though on the day? I remember saying, if you don't win the £100 and you're miffed, don't worry, because the £100 isn't the real prize. The real prize is success, and it's learning it. So this is probably what, the smallest room.
Yeah.
So it's still big.
Yeah, this is still big. Had to put this bed together as well, get the mattress. This came with it, so this is great. This is quite a big storage unit for the tenant moving in.
Decent wardrobe.
Yeah, so he's a student.
Who are these tenants that are moving in? Are they all students? Are they professionals? Like, what's the story of them?
So the first, the guy that's already moved in, he's a professional.
Yeah.
He's from Poland, and then the second one that's coming in, he is a postgrad coming to study at the university.
Right. You know what I say about postgrad's not too bad, but being careful mixing professionals and students. Have you heard me say this?
Yeah.
Good. So not to mix an 18-year-old student with a professional with a DSS. Yeah, cool. Because sometimes, actually, I know you're renting these rooms out real fast, but sometimes fast is good, but what's really not good is fast but with the wrong tenants.
No, yeah, I think definitely, because the last thing you want is either someone in that isn't paying, someone that's disrupting, or you want quiet, happy tenants.
Two problems you can have with rent-to-rents. One problem is you can't fill the rooms. Yeah. That's a big problem. Second problem you can have is you fill the rooms with the wrong people. That's an even bigger problem.
Yeah.
You've clearly not had the first problem. You're renting the rooms out great, but you just need to make sure. Are you vetting the tenants properly?
Yeah, we're doing.
Have you had to turn anybody away?
We've turned a couple of people away. Yeah.
That's good. Cool, man. What's next?
So we have got the final bedroom.
Yeah.
So
is this one rented out?
Yes, this one's already tenanted.
Okay. We don't have to go up.
We don't have to go up there.
I mean, is he in?
We can't. He's not here.
Is he happy for us to go up?
Yeah, he's already said that we can go in.
Let's go then.
Stairs are a little bit steep. But yeah, this is the room that I did the most work on.
So you did a lot of, what kind of work did you have to do on here?
So I had to paint this whole room myself. It was kind of like a bit of a dirty colour, so I had to just go over it just to make it look all fresh.
We don't like dirty colours.
No, so, and then the carpet was actually, there was 3 different carpets in here, all different colours. So
I can imagine this looked pretty awful.
Yeah, it didn't look great. I think where the room is in the house is probably my favourite.
Yeah.
Now, especially for a house share, I think some people just want to be away from everyone else.
How much is the guy paying? Is he actually renting this now? This is his house?
Yeah.
How much is he paying?
So he's paying £85 a week for it.
So about what, 368?
Yeah, a month.
See, when you do this a long time, you know the maths.
Yeah.
You know, you can just when you start out, you times it by 4. When you get a bit professional, you times it by 4.333. And when you get really seasoned, you just know it in your head because you done it a million times.
I'll get there.
You'll get there. So okay, so this is rented out for 368.
Yeah.
What about the other room that you just rented? How much is that rented for?
So the other one, that's at 80. So
80. Oh geez, now I'm gonna make myself look bad. All right, I'm gonna have to just be a professional and not seasoned. 80 times 4.333 is 346. Okay, cool. Yep. So 368, 346. What about the other 2 rooms?
So they're both the same at 90.
90, okay.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of interest in those?
Yeah, we've had a lot of interest.
How long do you reckon it'll be before this whole thing is just rented out?
I've given myself a target of the end of the week, so...
And you only got the keys last week?
Yeah.
That's so good. Okay, so that's going to be 90 So you're going to get in total 389 plus 389 plus 346 plus 368. So you're expected to make about 1492.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Yes.
You're going to have to pay
575.
575 direct to the landlord. She's going to leave you with 917, but you're going to have other costs as well.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, so I've got to pay the council tax, I've got to pay the water, gas and electric.
Yeah.
I've also got to put money aside for repairs and voids.
Yes.
And then there's also a small Wi-Fi bill as well, so that brings me to $550 a month.
Cool. So you're going to be left with a profit of $550 per month. What would you say to someone that said, can't they just pay their own bills? Can't they just pay their own? What I would say would be, the reason that I teach not to do that and for you to pay the landlord is 2021. The thing that sells is convenience.
Yeah.
People want to just move into a property that's already furnished, there's already the bills, there's fast Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
there's nice paint on the wall. They just, they want convenience. They'll live here for like 12 months and then move out. So paying the bills, it kind of defeats the object of renting a room. But no, man, that's really great. That's really, really, really great. So you got this. You've been making about £500 a month profit off the whole property. Do they have to share, like...
Share the bathroom, share the kitchen.
Can I see the kitchen and bathroom?
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's an important room, especially if they're sharing it. It needs to be a decent room. I'm surprised how well the area's doing though here.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a lockdown. We're in Huddersfield, and this dude's renting out rooms faster than you can rent them out in London. Okay.
So you
So
can
yeah,
see
decent.
it's all relatively new and clean.
Yeah, it is. And the kitchen's on the first floor as well,
so,
right?
The kitchen's just through here.
Yeah, decent. So, do you need a license for this?
No, I don't need a license, it's only 4 bed.
Do you need any planning permission?
Nope.
Did you have to go through references when you got this? How did the letting agent work?
Yeah, so they did all their checks on us and stuff.
Okay, so this is where you put your parents down?
Yeah.
Okay, great. What would you say to somebody that's saying, it's alright for you because your parents can be a guarantor for you, but I haven't got parents that will be a guarantor?
It doesn't have to be your parent, it can be anyone that you got a network. You got to find anyone else that's interested in property. It could be a friend, it could just a stranger that you contact, well, not a stranger, but someone else that's interested in property.
Yeah. What's been the hardest thing about getting this property and getting it up and running?
I don't think any of it's been as hard as I thought it was going to be. I think once I got all the flat packing done, all the rooms were ready, and I advertised as fast as I could, and I did the best adverts and put it in as most places as possible, all the inquiries came to me, and then it was just a case of getting people into view as many as possible, as fast as possible. What
would you say was the breakdown of the £1,000? So you had to pay presumably $575 rent up front, 1 month. What else?
So I also have to, the furniture, that was probably the biggest expense.
How much was that?
About 300 quid.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I had to pay for the painting for the top room.
Yeah.
I had to pay my friends a little bit to help me put the furniture together.
Yeah.
And then I had to pay for the carpet to be fit as well in the top room as well.
Was there a deposit as well?
No, I didn't have to pay a deposit.
Really?
Really, yeah.
So there's no deposit? That's crazy. You're doing really well.
Thank you.
You feeling proud?
Yeah.
What's the plan now moving forward?
Kind of rinse and repeat, just do the same again. Especially while I don't have loads of money, I'm not really working at the moment because of what's going on with COVID. I'll be back to work soon in the next couple of weeks now that there's been these...
What do you do? What is your job?
So, I'm a qualified swimming teacher. I do that at the weekends. I also get paid to play rugby as well,
Nice.
and then any sort of odd jobs that I can get to kind of get a little bit more money to save, I'll do.
So how much do you get paid to be a swimming teacher?
So that's about £100 a week.
So about $450 a month.
Yeah.
So this will pay you more than your swimming.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Good, because it's a lot harder being a swimming teacher.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this will come with work, I'm sure.
Definitely.
You're going to have to manage it, keep the tenants happy. And some people say, oh, it's just rent to rent, it's just a job. But it's like, well, if you want to make money, if you haven't got money to invest initially, okay, you had £1,000, it's going to need work.
Yeah.
But this is going to build your experience, it's going to build up your money. You put down £1,000, making £500 a month. The return on investment on that, well, let's work it out. Now, of course, you've got a time return on investment. $550 a month times 12. And you've factored in maintenance, repairs, voids, all that stuff.
Yes.
So 660, you put down 500, so divided by, you put down 1,000. So the return on investment is 660%.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. So massive congrats. Tell me about this other property that you've got as well, the one that you found on the crash course.
Yeah, so the offer's currently going through for that. I'm expecting a call back today.
What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to package up and sell it to an investor.
Boom. What would you say to someone that was thinking of doing the crash course but was feeling sceptical like you were?
Get on it.
Were you very sceptical?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I didn't know what to expect at all. When I found out it was 12 hours, I was like, is it all going to be filled with good stuff?
Yeah.
And it was. It was all valuable stuff. I've filled a whole notepad full of notes.
Yeah. And as a result, you've got a property that you're selling now, packaging, you've got a rent to rent, you're doing some cool stuff with your mum and dad.
Yeah.
So absolutely awesome. Best advice, top tips, someone watching this, maybe they're also 18, you just turned 18 a couple months ago, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But maybe they're also 18, looking to get started, might only have £1,000 like you to their name. What do? What's your advice, top tips?
Get on the crash course, get some training, and then take action.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people might do the training or might come on the crash course and then think about doing something and think. But I think the best thing is just to go and do.
Yeah. And listen guys, the crash course, you can have a free ticket from me. Absolutely free. In the description, I'll leave a link. Get booked on for free. Tom, how do we find you out on? Are you on Instagram and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Your Property Zone or at tom.grayson.
Love it. Good stuff. Check him out. He's going to be very successful. I look forward to seeing you at the crash course. Are you going to be back at the crash course?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Come down, see Tom, see me. I'll leave a link in the description. Get booked on. It's free. There's a £1 booking fee to check you're a real person. Get booked on. You want to see more videos like this? Check them out right here. You want a ticket to the crash course? I'm going to make it really easy for you. You can get a ticket right here. And don't forget to subscribe. You can do that right here. Thanks so much. See you next time.